Let me ask you something real quick. You ever have a conversation with a girl and everything seemed fine, everything seemed cool, you thought it was going well, and then out of nowhere, her energy just shifted? She went cold, she pulled back, she started replying with one word, and you're sitting there like, bro, what just happened? What did I do? What did I say? You're running the whole conversation back in your head like a detective trying to solve a case. And the frustrating part? You still can't figure it out. Nothing seemed wrong, you were nice, you were respectful, you were trying, so what went wrong? I'll tell you what went wrong. You failed a test you didn't even know you were taking. See, here's something most guys never figure out. Women don't just talk to you, they observe you, they study you, not in a manipulative way, not because they're trying to trap you, but because their psychology is literally wired to scan for certain qualities: confidence, emotional strength, direction, integrity, and they do this through these small, quiet, almost invisible tests, little moments in the interaction where they throw something at you to see how you react, not because they want to play games, but because they're trying to answer one simple question: is this guy the real deal, or is he performing? And the thing is, you can't pass these tests by trying to pass them. You can't Google the right answer and memorize it. The only way to pass them is to actually become the kind of man who passes them naturally. And that's what this video is about. So I'm breaking down 8 things women secretly test you on, the ones most guys never even notice, the ones that quietly decide whether she's interested or done. By the end of this, you're going to look back at past situations and think, oh, that's what that was. Let's get into it. Number 1, how you handle pressure. This is the first thing she tests, and she tests it early, not always in an obvious way. Sometimes it's subtle. She might go a little quiet when you're talking. She might give you a short, half-interested answer just to see what you do with it. She might throw a little light challenge your way, like question your opinion on something or push back just slightly on what you said. And most guys, they crumble immediately. Not dramatically, quietly. They start over-explaining, they start backpedaling, they start softening their position to match hers, they start filling the silence with nervous energy. And the moment that happens, she registers it. Not consciously most of the time, but something in her brain goes, he can't handle a little pressure. And that feeling, that small, quiet feeling, starts chipping away at attraction. Here's why this matters. Women don't test you because they enjoy watching you squirm. They test you because pressure reveals character. If you can't hold your ground in a low-stakes conversation, what happens when things actually get hard? What happens when real life throws something heavy? She's not trying to be difficult. She's trying to see if you're stable. The fix is not to get defensive. It's not to argue back. It's just to stay grounded. If she pushes back on something you said, don't fold and don't fight. Just hold it. Say something like, "Nah, I actually stand by that," and keep the same calm energy. No tension in your voice, no spike in your vibe. Just calm, steady, grounded. That kind of stillness under pressure is more attractive than the smoothest thing you could ever say, because it tells her, this guy is solid. You can lean on him. Number 2, how you respond when she pulls back. This one gets so many guys, so many, and it makes sense because it feels genuinely confusing when it happens. You're talking, things are going well, she seems into it, and then for no obvious reason, she goes a little quiet. Her replies slow down, her energy gets a little distant, and your brain instantly goes into panic mode. Did I do something? Is she losing interest? Should I text again? Should I say something funny? Should I ask if she's okay? And most guys at this point do one of 2 things. Either they flood her with messages trying to reignite the energy, or they go cold themselves out of ego, like, fine then. And both of those responses, both of them fail the test. Here's the truth about what's actually happening when she pulls back. Sometimes she's just having a day. Sometimes she's busy. Sometimes she's processing something that has nothing to do with you. And sometimes, yeah, she is testing, just watching to see if you're going to chase, panic, or stay solid. The right response to a pullback is calm presence, not silence to punish her, not distance to prove a point. Just carry on like a man who isn't shaken by the weather. Give her space, don't flood, don't disappear. Send one relaxed, no-pressure message like, "Hey, you seem busy, all good, whenever you're free," and then actually leave it there. Don't sit and obsessively check your phone. Go live your life. Go to the gym. Work on your goals. See your friends. Be the guy who has a life to return to. And here's what happens 9 times out of 10. She comes back, because when you don't chase, you communicate something huge. You communicate, "My life doesn't stop when your energy shifts. I'm good either way." And that kind of security, that's genuinely rare. Most men will crumble under the pullback. The man who doesn't becomes someone she thinks about. Number 3, whether you have standards. This one is sneaky because it doesn't always feel like a test, but it absolutely is, and it happens in these small, almost throwaway moments that you'd never think mattered. She shows up 30 minutes late and doesn't really address it. She cancels plans at the last minute and expects everything to be fine. She makes a little dig at something you care about, just to see how you react. She says something like, "You're just like every other guy," almost as a joke, but not really. And in that moment, most guys laugh it off, or worse, they agree, or they get visibly bothered and pouty about it. Both of those are wrong moves. When you let everything slide without even acknowledging it, you signal that you don't respect your own time and energy. When you get pouty and emotional about it, you signal that you're fragile. Neither of those is attractive. Having standards doesn't mean being rigid or aggressive. It means communicating calmly what's okay and what's not. It means responding to the late arrival with a relaxed, "Hey, just try to give me a heads up next time," and then moving on completely. It means when she makes that dig, you look at her with calm eyes and say, "That's a weird thing to say," and let the silence hold for a second. Not hostile, not aggressive, just honest and unbothered. Women are not attracted to doormats. This is one of the most important things I can tell you. They test your standards specifically because a man with no standards is a man with no self-respect, and it is impossible to be attracted to someone you don't respect. When you hold your standards calmly and consistently, something shifts in her eyes. The vibe changes. She sits up a little straighter. She pays a little more attention. She starts treating the interaction differently because now she knows this isn't a guy she can walk over, and that changes everything about how she sees you. Number 4, whether you need her validation. Pay close attention to this one because this is probably the most common test guys fail without even realizing they're failing it. She goes a little quiet after you say something. She doesn't immediately laugh at your joke. She gives you a neutral reaction when you expected a positive one. She doesn't compliment you back when you complimented her. She just kind of waits. And that pause, that small silent pause, is the test. Because in that pause, most guys buckle. They instantly start wondering, did I say something wrong? Was that not funny? Does she not like me? And they start filling the space with more words, more jokes, more effort to get the reaction they wanted the first time. That's validation seeking, and she can feel it immediately. Here's the hard truth. When your mood depends on her reaction, you've already handed her control of the whole interaction. And women don't want that power, even if they never say it out loud. It's too much. It feels like emotional labor. If he goes flat every time I don't smile enough, I'm basically responsible for his confidence. And that is exhausting. The man who passes this test is the man who says his thing and then just keeps his energy. He doesn't monitor her face for approval. He's not waiting for her to validate the moment. He made the joke because he thought it was funny. He shared his opinion because he actually has one. Her reaction doesn't change his comfort level. That kind of grounded energy, the energy of a man who doesn't need her to complete his sentence, is wildly attractive because it's rare and it's safe. Stop seeking the reaction. Be the source of the energy, not the receiver. Number 6, how you handle rejection or discomfort. This one reveals everything, and I mean everything, because how a man handles a small moment of rejection tells a woman exactly who he is when things get hard. Here's a common scenario. You suggest something, grabbing food, switching venues, making plans, and she says, "Nah, I'm good." Or she says it without enthusiasm, or she just doesn't reciprocate something you offered. And in that moment, most guys do one of two things. Some of them get immediately visibly deflated. Their energy drops, their vibe goes flat, they get quiet or weird. Some of them go the other direction. They get a little sharp, a little passive-aggressive, like, "Okay, cool, fine." And both of those responses, both of them fail the test. Here's the truth about what's actually happening when she pulls back. You just showed her that your mood is yours. It doesn't live in her responses. It doesn't live in whether she said yes. It lives inside you. And a man whose emotional stability lives inside him is a man who cannot be shaken by the small things. And that signals to her brain, this man is safe. This man doesn't have volatile emotions that I'll have to manage. This man is solid. And look, rejection stings. I'm not telling you it doesn't. I'm telling you the visible reaction to it is what costs you. Process it internally. Stay calm on the outside. Walk away from a no with the same energy you walked in with. That composure is the most attractive thing you can show. Number 7, whether you're the same person in front of your friends. This one is so underrated that most guys genuinely never think